You haven't even commented on my new hat, Dan.
What is it? It's blue. Pink, purple, and blue.
It's Jason. It's Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. And then the back, there's a nice 13 on it. This is a sweet hat,
Looks like a bee on the back.
Well, okay. Yeah, I can. You're not totally wrong. It's like a cursive 13, right? So it's got some swoops, but there's a little gap. There's a little gap in between them.
Wow, look at
but
you.
I see where you're coming from. A 1 and a 3 could very much look like a B.
Hey, watch him! With Dan and Tony! Hey, watch him! With Dan and Tony! It's like watching, yeah!
Welcome
the dream,
to Hate Watching with Dan and the Interrupting Tony.
My fault. That's my mistake. I was too excited. I just haven't seen you in a while. I got so excited.
We haven't seen each other in a while. Tony's been doing a vacation.
You don't even know where I went, do you?
Went to New Orleans.
Salem, Massachusetts.
You went to Salem, Massachusetts.
Ghost Town, USA. Yeah, we went and we did some ghost tours. We went to the witch museums.
Oh.
We went to a pirate museum. That was fun. Great stuff. Salem in October. Woo, busy. Very busy. A lot of people.
A lot of people. I was watching this thing, and they said that witches were caused by bread.
Well, listen, I went to a witch museum, Dan,
Yeah.
and they didn't say anything about grains.
They didn't?
Right?
But they were talking about...
They didn't mention the breads.
They were talking about how there's like this one sort of fungus that sort of grows in like bread or grows in stuff that you make bread with. And then
boy.
it can cause
Spores.
problems. And so they're thinking maybe that was one of the things that would happen is, come the witching season, the spores would go out and women would be like,
sure. Listen, I believe it because they don't seem to really know exactly what. I mean, there's some theories. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It could be spores.
So
it could be spores related.
You didn't come away from the witch museum with some information to impart to all the viewers?
I mean, here's the thing. So first of all the things that they call museums are wax museums.
Tony, this is what we gotta say. Like this video if you like this video. The video.
Like and subscribe. Yeah, like it. Leave a comment. Subscribe. Tell us what movie you want us to do. See, that's what we need to do.
So you gotta do that at the beginning. Okay, so they're just wax museums. All these museums.
Yeah, they call them museums, but they're all just like wax figurines that you walk through, and then the 1963 Witch Museum, which is I guess it's famous. That one, you sit in the middle of the room. It's kind of like the Tiki Room at Disneyland.
What?
You sit in the middle of this room. It looks like a church. And then around the outside, there are wax scenes that they light up as a voiceover tells the story of the witches. I don't know. None of them are museums. That's all I have to say about it. People love them, and that's great. But I was expecting museums, literature, something that I can read and find out more information on. I didn't feel like that's what I got.
My question is, were you able to buy an audio cassette of the show?
No, because they want you to come back, Dan. If you could buy an audio cassette, you'd never have to return to this museum,
So,
but I did. I bought a lot of stuff. So
really?
That's good.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
This episode is a special episode. It might be a shorter episode. Probably won't be an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes.
so short.
Hour and 59, because this is our recap of our summer picks. In the beginning of summer, we looked at all the trailers of all the summer movies, and then Tony and I picked which we thought were going to be the worst or the worstly rated.
Yes, that's the word.
And now we're
audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Just to clarify, that's how we're judging it. Audience score.
And now we're going back and looking that over and making assessments. Tony will have seen a fair amount of these movies. I will have not seen a fair amount of these movies.
You're really missing out on just a couple.
I mean, I think there were two movies in here that I was like, I will absolutely see that movie, and I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it. I think it was Spider-Verse and the Turtles movie were the two movies I was like,
and both were great. So it worked out nicely for Dan.
Yeah, it's like, it's like the Super Mario Brothers movies. Like, I knew I was going to watch that then when I watched it, I knew I enjoyed it. I'm like,
it's just like, okay, great. This is what I wanted, and moving on to the next.
And it's kind of interesting to think about that, how it's sort of, that's where we're left, is the more sort of kids animated movies that actually set up a promise and then deliver on that promise, because so many other things do not deliver on the promise.
Well, that's true. That's very true. And even some of these that we didn't think were promising, Ruby Gilman for, is that what
Yeah, Ruby Gilman,
is?
Teenage Kraken.
It performed admirably.
Yeah.
It wasn't great, but it did better than I thought it was going to do.
Yeah. And Elemental, which I thought was going to be a stinker, turned out to be a solid hit.
Turns out it's a pretty good movie.
People really liked it.
Who knew?
Which, I mean, and I guess that's the thing is, you're at your own peril when you say bad things about animated movies before you've seen them, because
honestly, they needed to hire someone to write a better that is one of the movies I haven't seen, by the way. I still didn't see Elemental, but the trailer wasn't great. The trailer was very mediocre, so I blame that on the trailer people.
And once again, we were judging all of these movies based on the trailer, and in some cases, the trailers told big lie, good or bad, right?
Good, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it could have gone either way. There were some that the trailers were like, "Oh, this is going to be good," and then it wasn't that good.
Yeah, because the Mission Impossible movie, which I thought that trailer was amongst the worst trailers.
We had different opinions on that trailer, because I liked the trailer. I got excited, and it's very good.
Yeah, and the scores, both critics and audience, very strong on that one. So
very, very high on that. Yeah, very solid entry.
So Tony, I guess, did a spreadsheet and got all the scores ready to go.
I did.
And I didn't know that. He didn't tell me that before this. So I was like rapidly marking up my thing and writing down some of the scores. And the thing I found very quickly is, I don't think it's possible to have a truly bad score on a movie anymore.
That's got to be false. Mm-mm. I feel like,
because I think that every single one of these numbers is pumped up by so many fake accounts that these numbers
agree with that.
These numbers, they don't mean nothing, but they mean way less than they have in the past.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely moving in the wrong direction on the aggregated scores here. I agree with you 100%. I don't know any better way to do it other than, the other way to look at it is box office, but box office doesn't determine if it was good.
No.
It determines appeal, I guess, but it's tough.
Well,
it's tough.
You just have to realize you're grading, on a curve, and that curve is 60 to 98. If you have a score in the 60s, that means
62 is our lowest score. Excuse me. And three movies got 62, and that's the lowest score.
And I know of at least one of them, beyond a shadow of a doubt, deserved a 62. And
you mean worse than a 62?
Well, yeah, exactly. The Hypnotic,
and one of them deserved way more than a 62.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Asteroid City got a 6. I'm just going to throw it out there. Asteroid City was a 62 audience score. There's no way that movie is a 62. There's no way that you can go and see Hypnotic and Asteroid City and be like, those are about the same. Those are real close to the same kind of movie. That's just not possible.
Well, we're gonna have to talk about Asteroid City when we get to it. That's wow.
Yeah. Sorry, I jumped the gun.
No, that's fine, because this is a talking over the whole of the thing, so we're allowed to jump ahead. I wonder if Asteroid City suffered the, people were like, oh, I'm seeing a brainy, because everybody. This was the summer of Barbenheimer, where everybody went to Barbie and they went to Oppenheimer. And did you see Oppenheimer?
I still have. I may never.
Okay.
It might be one of those movies I just refuse to see.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, I won't say I hate Christopher Nolan. I don't have a lot of faith in him, but I guess I should see that since it's a normal movie. It's not him trying to be clever. It's not him trying to,
I guess that's true. Yeah, it's a nice little biopic. Sure.
And I think a lot of people went to that, and I mean, I'm assuming it's a fairly straightforward movie that's just, here's a movie that gets you with some feels in different parts and makes you, either feel terrible about the world or feel good about the world or feel terrible.
I think it's just that first one, terrible about the world.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
So people aren't going to go in there, they went in there knowing they're going to probably feel terrible about the world. Asteroid City, they didn't know what they were going to feel when they went in there. And they just got completely confused and didn't understand what the movie was.
I am in the field that didn't totally understand, because we talked about it after I saw it, because you and Todd were both like, you should just give it a shot. Give it a shot. And I did. It's a beautiful movie. It's a very well acted movie. It's a very interesting movie. I don't know if I particularly liked the movie, and maybe I'm different than a lot of people, but I don't rate. My rating isn't how much did I like the movie. My rating is how good was the movie, because there can be really good movies that I did not enjoy. We will talk about one of those today.
Excellent.
But I mean, in general, 62 is way too low for Asteroid City.
Okay.
It's way too low.
It's insane. That's an insane number.
Yeah, doesn't make any sense.
And that feels like a number that is generated by the absolute wrong people seeing that movie for the wrong reasons.
Yes. Yep, I agree. 100%.
Because we definitely, if you look at taking out the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and movies like that, the comedy quotient of what we have here is pretty darn terrible, right?
Sure.
I mean, how many movies?
There is a surprise. I'm excited. I'm excited for one movie, Dan, because you got it so wrong, and I'm very excited about it.
Okay. Well, we'll save it.
We'll save it.
We're going to start with our first two movies, which were Book Club and About My Father, neither of which I saw. I thought that...
You still didn't... Dan, I told you to see About My Father. I told you to see it months ago. What's going on? Oh, no, it's good. Although... It is one of the ones with the biggest discrepancies between critic score and audience score. There's a couple today that the gap is so big that there's something going on, I feel.
Because this one,
About My Father was pretty good.
This one, the critic score was 35 and the audience score was an 81.
Yeah. That's not great. I liked it. Is it a great movie? No, it's not a great movie, but it's funny. He's good. Sebastian's funny. He's got some good jokes in there. It's good. It's fun.
This movie looked like an About the Fockers kind of a movie.
It is. It's not. I don't think it's quite as good as the first Meet the Parents.
Okay.
Because I do really enjoy Meet the Parents. But I do think that Sebastian is very funny. I think there's some really good ideas in it. And I hope that it didn't do so bad that they don't let him try again.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I hope he gets another shot at it. I think, I don't know. I enjoed it.
Is the dude in his 50s or is he in his 40s?
40s.
Okay,
Yeah,
so he's got some time. And we're going to talk about him maybe again when we talk about The Machine. So we both sort of had the same feelings about that. I thought About My Father was going to score worse. It did score worse. And I thought that was going to be one of the absolute worst movies on this entire list.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. Here's what I will say. I also saw Book Club 2 on an airplane.
Book Club 2? Okay.
I did. It's exactly what I believe. I didn't re-listen to our episode, but I think what we said was that Book Club 2 may not be for us, but if it's for you, you're going to love it. Right. And so I watched it on a plane, just half paying attention, half playing my Switch. And I was like, yeah, it's cute. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with the movie. Like it is what it is. And for the demographic, you're going to love it.
And those are the kind of movies that every year we're just going to see 10% less.
Yeah.
Until they don't exist anymore.
Well, they don't bring in a lot of box office. I mean, this is a movie that's probably, in 3 years, if it came out 3 years later, would go to a streaming platform. I feel like that's where we're heading. These middle of the road comedies that aren't going to be blockbusters. You're not going to make $100 million. We're just throwing those to streaming and be like, yeah, pay $10 a month and you can watch this movie.
God,
I don't know.
We watched something on Netflix. God, I can't think of what it was now.
Okay. Okay. Bad start.
Some brand new movie that they just posted. It was a Netflix made it themselves movie. Oh, what was it?
Do you remember anything about it or who's in it?
We watch so much stuff that I don't remember. It's like, unless it like, drifts down and, the silt of my brain, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, so now it's gone. Yeah. Well, you say something, Tony, and then I'll go see.
You say something.
Tony,
well, I didn't watch whatever Dan's talking about, so I have no idea what it is.
Try to be interesting for a second, Tony.
Am I still? You know what? I'll just talk about my father just a little bit more. Okay. I'm not going to do it. I got nothing else to say.
Why don't you set up our next two movies?
All right. Well, then the next two movies. This is one that we disagree. Not you and me disagree, but we disagree with the audience score, I think. But it's Hypnotic versus Haunted Mansion, and what we chose at the time was that Hypnotic was probably going to be worse.
Yes.
But at the time, if you remember, I was hopeful that I was wrong.
Oh, dear.
Do you remember me saying that?
Yeah.
Because I'm a Ben Affleck stan.
You're very excited. You're very excited for Hypnotic.
I saw it the next week, I'm pretty sure, after we did the show, just because I didn't want to watch anything before the show. And it's really bad. It's really bad.
But is it worse than...
And that is the question. It probably is, just because it also doesn't make any sense. At least Haunted Mansion has a story that you can follow. Hypnotic's just kind of nonsense, to be honest with you. But what I will say, the audience score for Hypnotic is 62. The Haunted Mansion score is 84. I don't believe that it's an 84. There's not a single second that I buy Haunted Mansion as an 84. But Hypnotic being tied for the lowest score of the summer, that makes sense.
See, Haunted Mansion, that should have a score of 40.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. 100%. Although I was scouring YouTube after we watched Haunted Mansion, there's a lot of positive buzz on the interwebs about Haunted Mansion. There's like videos are all like Haunted Mansion, not that bad, something like that, which is a weird title. But there are a lot of defenders out there. I don't know.
I don't buy it. Oh, the movie I watched was Reptile, which was...
What is that?
That was, what's his name? Oh, gosh, now I have to... it's like a...
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have just let it go.
Asking me all these questions. You expect me to remember a name of a human being that I've seen
yeah. This is the Benicio Justin Timberlake.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And just, a really wow, what's happening? What have I done? I started the movie.
On the computer?
I started the movie.
Started the movie.
But like, this is a Netflix movie that was really well made, as opposed to like, what was the Gal Gadot one with The Rock and Ryan Reynolds?
What is it? Red? No, that's Bruce Willis.
It was like, it was just so bad. It was.
I mean, it's Red Notice. That's the name of that movie.
That movie was just...
Yeah, I watched it. It was fine. It passed the time, Another movie that I would be playing my Switch during,
Yeah, it's like these, but Reptile's like a real movie, and then you watch Red Notice, and you're just like, oh, this just bad summer popcorn movie that,
Well, that's why it doesn't come out in the theaters, right?
Next two movies, The Mother, which was what's her name? J-Lo. No one saw this movie. That's a 62. I don't even. Did it come out? Did anyone see it? Does anyone care? I don't think so.
I did not see it, which is unfortunate because it's free. You can see it anytime. It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix. You could have seen it anytime you wanted. And I didn't see it. And I feel bad.
Think about for a second. This is a free movie on Netflix. People are watching this movie for free, then taking the time to go and give it the worst score of all of the summer movies that we've seen.
Yeah.
They're taking their time. That means either the studio didn't pay any money to bump it up on Rotten Tomatoes.
Or they did, and 60, whatever it was, 62 is the culmination of that, plus all the hate. I don't know.
They worked hard.
It makes me want to see it more, if that does anything for you. Now that I know that it's got the lowest score of the summer, tied for the lowest score of the summer, I'm in. I'll watch it.
And then we click on the one that was up against that, Gran Turismo, David Harbour, coming in at 98, which I think might be
98. It is the highest score of the summer. Listen. That was the most exciting thing that happened to me when I was going through these scores. As everybody knows on this podcast and in my personal life, I love this movie. I love it. I've seen it like 4 times now. It's great. And it just makes me happy. What makes me less happy is that it didn't do very well. Like, these scores didn't equate to more money, which I think is unfortunate because I think it deserved it.
And he's on a tear with the Ghost movie, which you haven't watched.
Yeah, I know.
And the Santa Claus movie. Did that come out?
Which I have watched.
Did that come out this year or last year?
That came out. Actually, now I don't know. Now that you say it,
it feels like it came out this year.
Hold on, Violent Night 2022.
Oh, okay.
So what does that mean though? Because it came out in November, right?
Oh, so it came out in November last year.
It would have been for this Christmas. You know what I mean? So like it was last year, but it was for this Christmas season.
Oh, I don't know.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, but whatever. The last three movies he's made are winner, but all sort of not seen and not cared about.
But I saw him and I cared about all of them. How about that, Dan? All right. I'll follow this guy to the ends of the earth. But you're right. I mean, it's weird. The good news is Violent Night did well enough that I believe they're making a sequel.
Okay, good.
Which excites me a great deal. But yeah, I don't understand why Gran Turismo didn't do better. It's a perfect summer movie. This is what summer blockbusters are made for. I don't know.
Now we get the next one, something we actually went in opposite directions. Fast X.
We've agreed on all of the first 3, and we were all right on all of them.
Fast X versus Indiana Jones. I said that Indiana Jones looks way worse, and you said that Fast X was going to come in as way worse, and you were correct.
We were both kind of right. Because the scores are very close. It's an 88 to an 84. It's not like one of them blew the other one out of the water. This was a close race between fans of the franchise. That's how I look at it. It's just, fans of the franchises went and saw it and they enjoyed it. That seems to be what happened here.
I also think that the reason why these scores are like this is because the Fast X fans were more pissed at the movie than the Indiana Jones fans. The Indiana Jones fans cut the Indiana Jones movie a ton of slack just because they wanted Indiana Jones.
Well, not only that, but it's coming back from such a misstep with Crystal Skull. And I'm sure I've said it before, I'm a Crystal Skull defender. I don't think it was that bad. You can fight me anytime you want. We'll talk about it. But I think... And they had to have gone in the right direction. There was no option that they were going to make a worse movie. So I think as long as it was better than Crystal Skull, people are going to be like, okay, that went all right. I think that was fine. It's not a great movie. They're not going to be like, this is the best Indiana Jones since the original, or whatever the best Indiana Jones is. But they're happy that it wasn't as bad as Crystal Skull.
Sure.
On the flip side, Dan, Fast 10 was a bit of a mess, okay? I said it from the trailer. I said it after I saw it. It's a nut. It's crazy. It's wild. I didn't love it, which is the first one of the franchise where I was like, I probably won't rewatch that during my rewatch.
Now, do you think they're going to do like when they do Fast 11, what they're going to do is they're going to take what Gran Torino, what's his name? What's his name in the movie? Toretto?
Toretto,
that's what it is.
Toretto.
Yeah, Toretto, and then they're gonna de-age him to make him like a child, so he's gonna like play his own child.
I would love that. Are you kidding me? Yeah, put Vin Diesel's face on a baby. Let's do this. Dude, I don't know. It's wild. I didn't love. I mean, there's some great action sequences, right? Which is really what the movie is for, quote unquote. But it just felt less cohesive and that's a wild thing to say about the Fast and Furious franchise. It felt less cohesive, but the saving grace was, of course, Aquaman just having the time of his life. So, could have been better, could have been worse.
Little Mermaid versus Elemental. I was saying Elemental was going to get reviewed worse. You said, we said the same. So
we did say the same, but this was real close. This was tied for the closest battle. It's just a 1 point difference. Little Mermaid came in at 94. Elemental came in at 93. So I guess the moral is see them both.
I don't know how this Little Mermaid movie did not avoid the most serious review bombing that we've ever seen.
Yep.
I mean,
good on it. But and I feel like I should have done the research. I feel like it did, Dan, and then they removed the hate. I feel like that's what happened. It did get review bombed, and then they went through and were like, no, these don't count towards the score. I'm pretty sure.
And that might also be what's going on. They might be starting to weight these things because it is kind of garbage when a bunch, tons of people just hate on a movie just because there's some social issue to it.
Right. It's the social issue part. Listen, if the movie deserves it, I'm all for it. Let's burn it to the ground. You know what I mean? I'm ready. There's like The Machine. We should have burnt that movie to the ground 100%, but we did not. But if you're rating a movie without seeing it, shame on you. That's all I'll say about it. Shame on you. Don't do it. It's what does it do? It doesn't do anything. I'm telling you right now, these scores don't relate to money. They might have at one point where people would check Rotten Tomatoes and be like, maybe I won't go see that. Doesn't happen anymore. 98%. Gran Turismo, guys. 98%. Movie couldn't make any money. Unbelievable.
We live in a very strange world. Next up, the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Ooze Mayhem, or whatever it's called.
Mutant Mayhem.
Versus Ruby Gillman. Turtles coming in at 90, Ruby coming in at 81. Not surprising. But once again, I think both of these movies, Turtles is amazing, I guess. And I think
Turtles is so good.
People dug it.
I loved it. Did you not see Turtles yet? Dan, you got to get on some shit here. Listen, Turtles is out. I don't know if I bought it yet. Turtles is out, I'm pretty sure. You should watch that. Turtles is real good. Real solid. I haven't seen Ruby, but I believe she's now streaming, so I will be watching that soon.
Is that a Disney or is that going to be on Paramount Plus?
I don't think it's Disney.
It's not Disney.
Ruby Gillman. It is on Peacock. Oh, so go check that out, everybody.
Now we get to the one Tony's been waiting for, The Machine versus You Hurt My Feelings. You Hurt My Feelings, a Julie Louis-Dreyfus movie that no one saw, no one cared about, got a 64 on here. The critics gave it a 94.
A 94. Listen to this shit, Dan. We have to take this into consideration a little bit. First of all, The Machine came in at 87. No, don't thumbs up. I will reach through this screen and slap your face.
Let's talk about You Hurt My Feelings first, then we'll go back to The Machine.
Okay. It has to be taken into consideration a little bit that it got a 94 critic score. That's the highest critic score of the summer, I think. Nope, Turtles got a 96. I apologize, which is totally fair. But a 94, that movie doesn't deserve a 64. I didn't see it. I'm not going to see it. I don't care. 64 feels pretty low.
That trailer was bad. The
trailer wasn't great.
Bad. It was, just bad. I love Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
Me too. Yeah, she's great.
I'll watch drama movies. I'll watch all sorts of things, but it just looked so bad.
It didn't look good. It didn't look good, but
she says bad stuff and it gets back to her husband or something weird.
Something like that. Yeah. And then they have like a fight. I don't know. We're not going to see it. Neither of us are going to see it. Nobody else saw it. Who are the people that are rating it 64? I don't know. Because nobody saw the movie.
Now, The Machine was a problematic movie. It had a lot of problems, but it had one thing. It had two things. It had Mark Hamill, who was pretty good.
Sure. I'll give you
Bert
that.
Kreischer.
No. No.
I was out there walking the dog, and I was like, I hope when Bert gets his next role in a movie that the director has like this, uses him right and uses him well, and we really get the Bert that all of us want.
Listen, first of all, I don't want Bert. Okay, I don't want any Bert. I want Bert to be done. Bert is done. Listen, if that happens, I'll be very happy for him. I'd love to see a Bert that I enjoy. This was not the Bert that I enjoy. I hate this movie. Listen, okay, so here's what I want to say. I know that we don't take critic score into consideration. I know that we don't do that. But it's a 94 versus a 32. That is the biggest gap between critic scores on this entire map here. That's insanity. That is a 60% swing between the critic scores. And you're telling me that the machine's going to beat it by 23% on the audience score? No.
I'm going to tell you this. The Machine in 5 years is going to be one of those movies with a fall. It's
not, because I'm going to find every copy and I'm going to destroy it. That's not how the world works anymore. It's all digital.
It's going to be a movie that people go like, you remember that when he does that, when he shoots the thing and it bounces off and the dad does drugs and the hookers and then everybody shoots and he's in the casino. It's one of those movies. It's like the set pieces aren't good.
Nothing's good. I refuse to believe that this movie will be remembered. I don't know. Am I being too biased? I don't know what's going on. I hate this movie, Dan. And I'm just so sad that it got an 80. 87's too high. Can we at least agree that the 87's too high? What about a 75? I'll allow a 75 at best, just because he's got fans. 87. There's no way the movie's an 87%. It's not a B plus.
You know how this movie's an 87%? Because The Flash has an 83%, Tony. That's how.
I mean, listen, you're not wrong about that.
Let me ask you this: how much more? I mean, leaving Supergirl off of The Flash, we're ignoring Supergirl, putting her to the side, and leaving Michael Keaton, putting him to the side, just the Flash parts of The Flash. You would watch Bert Kreischer do comedy in a stupid movie like The Machine way before you'd want to watch more Ezra be in The Flash.
As long as we know how low that bar is, I will agree with you. But that bar is so low, okay? I'm not going to watch either. I just want to be clear. But yeah, if I'm put in the position where it's door A or B and those are my only choices, I would go The Machine, but I wouldn't be happy about
That's
it.
That's
fine.
Okay. We've gotten to that point. This is not yes, there's always worse places to go. Okay, next we got a couple of horror movies. We got The Boogeyman and Insidious Red Door. We started The Boogeyman.
Oh, okay.
And we're just like,
oh no. So you're thinking maybe this isn't wrong?
Yeah, we peace out.
Okay, so here's how the scores broke down. Is Boogeyman received a 66 and Insidious, the Red Door, received a 69, which is very close. Both not good, as you can see. Like if you're in the 60s, you're a bad movie. That bums me out. I'll be honest. It really does, because I was excited for The Boogeyman, and Insidious looked so bad. Which, by the way, I watched it on the plane coming back from Salem. It's not good. It's not a good movie. It's not scary. It's not even interesting. I don't know who read that script and was like, "This is a movie." Yeah. Nothing happens. Nothing at all. They walk through some mist, see a ghost. I don't know. It's a terrible movie. But that bums me out that it might be better than Boogeyman, because that's still on my list for Halloween. We got 7 more days.
Yeah, I mean, we watch. We don't watch all the horror movies, but we start them and then we peter out on a lot of movies. But
Yeah, I get
but
that.
you get like that creepy one, like The Boy, where they have that doll and the doll's maybe alive and moving. It's like I
Sure.
get to look at this weird doll.
Yeah, something fun. Yeah.
Boogeyman, I didn't see anything I wanted to look at.
Listen, you should watch Insidious Red Door. There's nothing in the
Some
movie.
mist.
Nothing even happens.
You can't even see the people because there's mist.
They're walking through mist. I don't know. Yeah, that one hurts a little bit.
Spider-Verse versus Barbie. The absurdness that Spider-Verse has a 94 and Barbie came with an 83. That is some people hating.
It's unfortunate because we both agreed that Spider-Verse was going to do better, but we thought that these were going to be head-to-head, two of the best movies of the summer, highest scores out the door. Yeah, Barbie got shit on a little bit.
And, I mean, Asteroid City aside, Barbie might have been my favorite movie of the summer that I've seen.
Barbie is my second favorite movie of the summer.
What's number one?
Gran Turismo, baby.
Oh, yeah.
I will fight that all day. I love that movie. I love it to death. But Barbie it's this not only my second favorite, I think it might be the best movie of the summer. It might be a better movie than Gran Turismo, but I enjoed it slightly less than Gran Turismo.
Sure. I enjoyed it. I mean, I haven't gone back and watched it again, but there were just so many good things, and it had the comedy and the emotions, and Ryan Gosling just. I mean, in my opinion, he's the guy who should get the Oscar. That's telling you how dumb Oscars are. I think he did the best acting and the most interesting character that I've seen in movies all year by far.
Yeah, I get that. It's great. Yeah, I mean, 83 is shameful, if I'm being honest. But, it is what it is. And we both agreed that Spider-Verse was going to come in. So the result isn't necessarily shocking. It's just it should have been much, much closer.
The next one.
Did you see Spider-Verse?
I've not seen it yet.
Yeah, me neither.
Oh,
how weird is that? No, we both thought it was going to be one of the best movies of summer. Neither of us saw it. That's it. I don't know what that says, but that's interesting to me.
Oh, because we are a reflection of what's going on. Is I don't care if I see a movie a year or 2 years after it comes out. Doesn't mean back in the old days, I'd want to see everything when it came out. Blah 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 within a week or two. Now I don't care.
Sure.
If I don't see it for 2 years,
interesting.
I don't care. I'd rather see it for free than pay a nickel for it. Or have it on my cable or whatever.
If only movies were a nickel, then I'd see a bunch.
That's
of
how much they were when I was a kid.
Oh, jeez, the 1800s
and the
wild times.
And now 5 pennies. I'm like, yes.
Just gotta pick through your pocket lint here. Here we go.
Fire up the mutoscope. I'd like to see this film. It's on celluloid.
Is that where you get those weird burn things? I'm pretty sure I've seen that before.
It's called celluloid. Now you're going to have to talk about these next two because I haven't seen either one. I haven't heard anything. Transformers.
I mean, this is the biggest surprise of the summer for me.
Rise of the Beasts and Blue Beetle. Transformers in it at a 91. Blue Beetle at a
91?
92
for a Transformers movie. That is unbelievable. I mean. So, sorry, I talked over. Blue Beetle ended with a 92, Transformers with a 91. We both voted Transformers were going to come in worse, which we were right about. But it is a 1% difference. That is wild to me.
Pretty absurd.
I mean, I didn't see Transformers. Now I have to.
Yeah.
There's no other chance. Like, I have to see it. That's unbelievable to me. I did see Blue Beetle. It's not a 92 for me.
No.
I'll tell you that right now.
That movie's in that.
I feel both of these should be in the 70s.
I have the feeling.
I think that's where I'm at.
I have the feeling that the critics gave Blue Beetles a 78, which I find absurd. I think there's a lot of pumping going on in that number.
And I am of a mixed camp here because I'm all for it. In the sense that I like what they were going for. I like that it's not, you know what I mean?
Sure.
It's different and the representation is great. Like it's wonderful to follow a not white superhero, right? It's not a great movie. the supporting as much as I love the guy from Cobra Kai, the supporting cast is much stronger than he is, which really brings the movie down for me, and that's a bummer. Because I love him in Cobra Kai, and I was very excited for him to be like the head of a franchise. That's awesome. Good for him. I don't think that he carried it. I really don't. And then, it's just another mediocre superhero film.
Does he carry Cobra Kai?
He does not. And that's so I didn't think about that until later. He's not. It's very much an ensemble show, right? Like you need everybody and they all play off each other really well and all the characters are really nice and defined. He's not the guy that when you think Cobra Kai, you're like, oh, that's why I watch that show.
Got it.
You don't. Yeah. You just like the show, right? It's a good show. The older dudes are more fun than the kids, if we're being honest. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm bummed, but it sounds like as if I'm in some sort of inner circle, which I'm not. Just from what I'm reading, it sounds like they want him to continue to play Blue Beetle in the DC universe, and that's great. I hope that's true.
DC universe is a mess. James Gunn taking it over It will continue to be a mess.
Yeah, I don't think he's the guy. And I don't know anything. Right. We all know that. I don't think he's the guy to save it. I don't.
You know why it's a problem? Because DC is not a universe.
Well, yeah, that's true.
It's not a universe in the same way that Marvel is a universe. Marvel has always had these really nice plot lines. Back when the creators were free to mold Marvel, when Jim Starlin and Chris Claremont and all these guys worked there. They molded this universe, which, there weren't a bunch of movie studio executives standing over their shoulders.
Yeah.
DC has Superman, Batman, which are incredible. They have the characters, but they don't have the same shared universe that exists in Marvel. And you can't make that up. It's too late to make it up.
I agree with that 100%. And I do feel like that's part of the problem because like you said, like the comics are not nearly as intertwined as Marvel is. They never have been. Like you have like the Trinity, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. They kind of hang out together. But even in the Justice League, you got rotating members, and it's just not the same. The reason why I feel like it's not the same is there's not as many crossovers outside of the books that are already assigned to the group. Like Justice League of America, like all of them, they have their things. But if you're in like the Batman series, you don't have a ton of people coming over and hanging out. I feel like Spider-Man's in every comic book. Right? Like Marvel, you can go in all of them and Spider-Man shows up somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Just hanging out.
Absolutely.
I just feel like it's not as free flowing and it feels forced. I don't know.
And the power level level of the DC characters, it's like Flash. Flash and Superman travel through time. They can do anything.
They can do anything except for make good movies.
Spider-Man can't do anything. Yeah. Spider-Man can't do anything. He's like
he can talk funny.
He's a dumb kid.
He's all quippy. He is a dumb kid.
Captain America, ostensibly just a man, the perfect man.
Which doesn't exist. Just a joke about men being garbage. That's all,
okay. Dan. Now we're to The Flash and Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 of 3, followed by 4 more, followed by a second one, and a third one, and an eighth one.
Wait. What did you just say?
Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Yes. And what I want to say up first is that Dan chose Mission Impossible to do worse than The Flash, which, based off the trailer, I do understand. I can't fault you for looking at those two trailers and thinking The Flash would be better. But boy, were you wrong.
Why was I wrong?
Unbelievable.
Where's my hat? I will begin to eat it now.
Yeah, please. And I don't know how much we talked about it. Didn't watch the show. The only reason I had a good feeling about Mission Impossible is because Tom is fucking killing it right now. This guy is taking creative control of his own stuff, and he knows what people want, and he's giving it to them. And so the trailer, not great, but there's a couple moments where I was like, when they do the guy from the first movie, whose name I don't remember, talks in the trailer and is like, Ethan, this will take everything, whatever he says. And I was like, oh shit, they're bringing stuff back. They're going to give us some fan service on top of sweet stunts. He drives off a freaking mountain on a bike. I was hyped, and I know Tom's delivering. Tom is on his game right now. And DC is not. DC is
I'm sure Tom's feeling his mortality and knows he doesn't have
a ton of time left.
He can't do that many more of these.
Yep. Like, I can't keep this up, so I'm going to go 110% for as long as I can, and then probably just fall apart, literally. His body will just quit one day.
We watched this show called Gogglebox, where it's like people in like England, and they watch television, and then they react to it. It's just normal people. It's a super fun show because they're funny, and they react. Yeah, it's fun.
Well, they're British, so they're all real quippy.
They're British, and they were watching Top Gun 2. And Shannon was watching the show with me, and she got into it. When they showed the clips and they come together, and by the end of it, I was like, Shannon would probably sit through Top Gun 2. That's huge. That is not huge. That is insane. And that's just a testament to like making a movie that does exactly what it's supposed to do. Like put you in that cockpit, make you feel like something is actually happening.
And here's what I don't know how I even saw this. There is this one of the actors from The Sopranos does a podcast with Jamie Lynn Sigler, also from The Sopranos. I don't know what the podcast is. Don't go listen to it. This is not a recommendation for that piece of shit podcast. This guy apparently went on a rant about how Top Gun 2 is the worst movie ever made and how it's ruining movies. And the way it sounds to me is a jealous guy who doesn't work anymore that is like, oh, that's not even a real movie. Like The Godfather's a real movie. Top Gun 2 is just a popcorn. That's what it feels like. But for anyone to look at Top Gun 2 and be like, no, that's a bad movie, you're wrong. You're just wrong. You don't have to enjoy it. I'm okay if you don't love that kind of movie. It is technically brilliant and delivers exactly what you want from the movie.
Mm-hmm. How can you dispute that? The Flash is the exact opposite of that.
It is the exact opposite. That is correct.
It is a garbage movie starring a garbage person.
He's trash. Yeah, trash. Or they. Sorry. I'm so sorry. They are trash.
Giving us a movie that we don't want to see, that doesn't make sense.
Trash.
It's just terrible.
And there are two big problems. This one, unlike a lot of movies on this list, had an incredible trailer. Yeah, the team who made that trailer understood what the movie should be and pitched it to us as if that's what we were going to get. And we did not get that. When you see the movie, you watch the trailer and see the movie, very different vibes. So it's bizarre. But the people who made that trailer understood the assignment and they delivered. Yeah. Good for them.
Somebody understands how a movie's supposed to be structured.
Right.
It's not the people that made the movie. It's people that made the trailer.
Not at all. Yeah, the person who made the trailer was like, there's a good story here, and I'm going to pretend that that's the one we told, which is great. The other problem is you had James Gunn in the corner. This movie should never have been released. If you're canceling DC movies, this is one. Just kick it. Just kill it. Just drop it off. If you're not giving me Batgirl, how bad must Batgirl be? If they were like, Batgirl needs to be sold immediately, but The Flash is the best superhero ever made. That is a direct quote from James Gunn, and they're still going to release it. Unbelievable.
And they got some voices out there, because I don't know if it was his quote, but I heard that quote, maybe one other quote of a person that was just like, this is the superhero movie of the summer. And I was like, I don't know. Okay.
Right. Even if you didn't buy into that hype, which I tried not to, I feel like I fell for it a little bit, but I tried not to. But just hearing that, you have to assume it's going to be at least good, if not decent. It's terrible. It is a bad movie.
I mean, it's actually truly disingenuous to waste a lot of goodwill on this movie because
Yes.
I mean, I put up with a lot of these DC movies. I haven't seen them all.
I have. I'll just tell you right now, I have seen every single one. I'm a DC fan. If we're talking just comics, I'm a DC fan, and I'm just waiting. I'm waiting and praying that they're going to get something right, and it's not going well.
This is Tony's life. You're going to be waiting a long time.
Yeah,
Extraction 2 versus Meg 2. You saw Meg 2, I know, and you had problems.
I saw both of them.
Oh, you saw Extraction 2, and?
I did. So we actually, when we had done this show, I saw Extraction when it first came out. Couldn't remember it at all. But I do remember the Meg because I watch it multiple times. I've seen the Meg half a dozen times. I love the Meg. The Meg is great. The Meg does exactly what you want it to do. Statham versus a big fish. They deliver. They unlike the Flash, they understood the assignment and they delivered. The Meg 2 does not.
Oh.
The Meg 2 spends half the movie, the first half of the movie, they're just walking on the bottom of the ocean. Just having a good time talking about stuff. There's some arguments about the people. I'm like, where's the fish? Where is the fish? The fish shows up the second half of the movie. If you remember the trailer, there's a giant kraken octopus guy, and there's some other sharks. Those are there for about 5 minutes of the movie. It's unbelievable. I don't understand what happened. The Meg 1 is such a great B movie. The Meg 2 totally missed the mark. Unbelievable.
And
73, way too high, by the way. So the numbers, Extraction 2 ranked in and at 85%. The Meg 2 at a 73%. 73, too high. The critic score, 28, that's about right. I'll just tell you that right now. That feels right for the Meg 2.
And was Extraction 2 any good?
Very solid. It's just a solid action movie.
So it's a good action movie.
And I don't remember because I'm confusing the two because Extraction 1, we watched them both back to back in a weekend. Both very good, very solid movies. They're not great movies. Sure. I don't think they're the best action movies ever, but they're very solid action movies. Chris Hemsworth, very good. And it's a very different role for him. He's kind of like a downtrodden. He's got a dark past and he's out there saving people. It's great. It's good. It's exactly what you want. And there's some really cool action sequences. The first one, I think there's a 6 or 7 minute one shot of an action sequence that they're following him through a house and stuff. Oh, it's really good. There's some really good stuff. I enjoyed it. I would recommend it.
Okay.
It's dark though. It's dark. It's darker than you think.
I enjoy action movies. If you give me a good action movie, I'm happy to watch it. It's just most of the time you turn on action movies and it's like that other Chris Hemsworth's wife movie. Oof.
I love that movie. I don't remember. Why can't I remember what it was called?
Exactly.
But that was fun. That was a good one. We watched that for the show and it was great.
Asteroid City versus Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Oof. So first of all, the scores. Asteroid City, like we said, 62, tied for the lowest of the summer. Unbelievable.
Insane.
Oppenheimer comes in at a 91.
91.
I guess, okay. I mean, critic score is 93, audience 91. It's hard to necessarily argue that. I think that might be the closest gap between critic and audience. I didn't do the math on that, but people seem to like the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going to watch it.
Oh.
Asteroid City, I don't understand it. I don't know why it's so low. I really don't.
It is a bit of a mystery. I have no idea. I will.
Does this make you want to see Oppenheimer at all? Let's say it comes to streaming for free. Are you going to watch it?
Yeah, I mean, I like Cillian a lot. I love him.
He is great,
and I think what's her name's in there topless. So isn't she?
I don't know.
I think she is.
I don't know.
I think they have
you tell me.
I think what's her name? You know who we're talking about. The lady that does the lady things. Florence Pugh. She's in it. She plays.
Oh, Oh, from that Olivia Wilde
I
masterpiece.
think, I
Got
think
it.
she's in it, isn't she? Or is what's her name in it?
I think you're
I
right.
think she's in it,
You're
and I
absolutely
think
right.
what's her name's in it too. The Silent Place lady. I think she's in it too. So I'll watch it for them.
And Matt Damon is in it. So that's great.
Sometimes I like him. Sometimes.
Do you sometimes not like? What don't you like Matt Damon? What comes to mind when you're like anti Matt
The
Damon?
Great Wall.
What else? You're absolutely right. I forgot about that movie. That's on me.
Sometimes he can come in and just like be just sort of they try to act like he's a guy that you can put in all times, but sometimes he feels
Sure.
like he drags me back to contemporary times a little more than I would like him to.
I buy that 100. Yeah, I think that's totally
Yeah.
fine. Have you seen Elysium? I can't remember.
That's what's his name? The Gran Turismo guys. His movie?
Yeah.
I think I made it through it.
Okay. I like that movie a lot.
It was not great.
Okay, Dan. You know what? Let's move on here from poor Matt Damon getting shit on for no
They live
reason.
in the clouds, and I'm going to fly a ship up there, and I'm going to steal their golden jewels. What is he doing? I don't even know what he's doing.
I mean, it's not golden tool. Well, it's kind of like healthcare. Like the people up above get like, they're living forever or whatever because they have machines that just like cure you. And the poor people on the bottom don't. So he's trying to go up and get the technology and even out the classes. It's a bit of class warfare.
See, that was why. I mean, that's the Gran Turismo guy. That's Neil Blomkamp. That's why his best movie, District 9, that one was, talking about apartheid and all those kind of things through an alien lens. But they, I guess they sort of resolve some stuff at the end, but they sort of also just say, these are the problems. Good science fiction just says, these are the problems.
Really solve. Yeah.
They're not going to solve them.
Yeah,
we're just going
right.
to point them out. Okay, we got a couple more movies and we're going to be done. Last Voyage of the Demeter versus No Hard Feelings. Last Voyage, I thought
No. This is Last Voyage versus Talk to Me.
Oh, versus Talk to Me. Yes, we switched it. So it's Last versus Talk to Me. I haven't seen either. Last Voyage, I guess, kind of crapped out, and people didn't like it as much. The trailer was great, but I guess it wasn't as good as the trailer.
Was wonderful. I saw both of these. I saw Last Voyage in the theaters, and I saw Talk to Me 2 weeks ago on demand. Yeah. First of all, scores. Last Voyage came in at a 75%. I actually feel like that's about right.
Yeah.
It's not great. It's not terrible. It's a fine movie. Atmospheric. It's really pretty to look at. It's not scary.
Oh,
there's zero scare. It's not really any. So there's like two different types of scare, right? There's like creepy factor and then there's like scare factor. It didn't really have either, which is a problem. I'm fine if it's one or the other. Best movies have both, right? It's kind of got neither, but it's pretty. Like the sets are really nice. The acting, I think, is really solid. The monster's pretty good. It's just, I don't know, the tension's not there. I don't know why. Maybe it's because you know how it ends, because it's literally one chapter in a book.
True.
In a much longer book. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but I was disappointed. Oh. It's fine. It's a fine movie. Will I watch it again? Yeah, probably. At some point. Not every year. It's not an every year Halloween movie, but 3 or 4 years down the road, I'll be like, maybe I should check that out again. We'll see. I don't know. I'll let you know when that happens on the show. How about that? Talk to Me. This is the movie. I hate this movie.
Monkey Paw.
I hate it. I absolutely hate this movie. I think this is my least favorite movie of the summer. I think it's a good movie.
Oh.
It is a very, very well-made movie.
Yeah.
They do what they're trying to do. I hate what they're trying to do. It's the most depressing movie.
Oh.
It's the most depressing horror movie I've seen in a long, long time for me. It's basically the hand, you talk to ghosts, right? And she's trying to connect to her dead mom, essentially. It doesn't go great. Let's just say that, okay?
It's a horror movie. It's not supposed to go well.
The biggest problem is that, and this is spoilers, so tune out for about 30 seconds, people. There's a younger sibling in the movie. He's probably, I don't know, mid-teens, probably like a 15-year-old, something like that. And he gets possessed and he fucks himself up. Like he's like, it's graphic. He's smashing his head against like corners and like just mangling himself. I don't often close my eyes during movies.
Couldn't take it.
I had to look away. I was like, just let me know when this is over. I can't handle this. And it's not for me. I didn't like it. It was the opposite of the horror that I enjoy, and I'm done with it. But it's a well-made film.
The horror was too real.
It is. And so then and I know this sounds dumb, and I say that because everyone tells me it's dumb. But I disagree. My horror needs to be fun and not necessarily supernatural, but if it's too close to home, I don't find that fun. There's a movie. Have you ever seen The Strangers?
The creepy people come to the house and terrorize them. Shannon watched it. I stopped watching it. I was like, I don't need to go there.
So that is one of Naomi's favorite horror movies. That is my least favorite horror movie of all time. And she makes me watch it all the time, and I don't always watch it. Sometimes I do. It's a home invasion. Why? I don't want to watch a home invasion movie. I don't want to see it because that could happen at any time. Yeah. I went to a cabin. My parents had a cabin. That could have been me. That could have been us. I don't like that. That's not fun for me. I want my horror movies to be fun and scary, not like, oh, I'm going to die tonight. Like, I don't know. So that's just me. But this is, I don't like if it's too real, I'm not having any fun.
That's why No One Will Save You was a perfect movie, in my opinion, because you knew we were going to go from beginning to end with her. Wherever she ends up is where she ends up. We don't know where she's going to end up, but we're gonna see her, And that's a movie I don't like. This movie is Tom Cruise's War of the Worlds. Like at a certain point, you realize he's like nobody, but he's the guy that's always he and the family are just gonna keep on surviving. And the first half of that movie, while they're doing that, it's a freaking great movie. It sort of falls apart at the second half, but
that's all right.
That's what you want in a movie. You're like, it's not because this guy's special or magic or anything, but he's the guy we're gonna watch this situation through. And I want to watch the situation. I want to be scared. I want to worry about the characters, but I don't want to think, oh man, these people are just so fucked. These people are so screwed. Nothing good is going to come of this.
Yeah, and I agree. No one was. That's one of my favorite. It's fun. It is a home invasion, but done in like a super fun way. Like I'm having a great time. It's a weird movie, as we talked about before, but I'm having a good time either way. And I just want to have fun, even while I'm being scared. Because why would I want to be scared in a way that's like I'm genuinely afraid for my life? That doesn't make any sense. I want to have fun. I want to giggle when I get scared. Like in a haunted house, you're never actually thinking you're gonna die, right? People jump out at you, scare the shit out of you, but you laugh because it's fun. That's my kind of horror. Sure. I want to laugh because I'm scared. I don't want to cry.
Tony wants to giggle his horror away.
I want to have a good time. Listen, if I wanted true horror, I would just look around the world. Okay, this is a terrible place. Let's have some fun let's have some escapism. Let's have a good time. Let's hope that I know what you did last summer really is coming back with Freddie Prinze Jr. You know what I mean? That's what we need right now. We need another one of those.
Oh, that's a horror movie. If we have to look at his old creepy face.
Wow, Dan. Poor Freddie.
Last one is No Hard Feelings and Joyride.
Yes.
Jennifer Lawrence. We saw the commercial for it last night, and Shannon's like, "What is this?" Oh, that's when we started talking about you. She's like, "This is the kind of movie Tony likes," and I was like,
"I love this movie." She nailed it on the head, Dan.
And that's what Shannon says. Why would she make this movie?
It's surprisingly good, Dan. Okay. I would say give it a shot. I'm just not because I think you're going to like it. I'm curious to know what you think.
Well, is it a teenage sex comedy, or is it actually a coming of age movie that they're selling as a teenage sex comedy?
It's the second one.
What?
And it's interesting to me because it's vulgar-ish. Yeah. But it's mostly the second one. It's mostly the coming of age story, and also kind of a Harold. She's not as old as Maude, but like a Harold and Maude type of thing, where like within this relationship, they both grow and become better people. Sure. You know what I mean? It's that. It's not your Sex Drives, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's not your Fired Up, which I got behind me, my favorite movie of all time. It's like a real movie that just happens to also be about sex.
And,
You know, in a fun
and you
way.
love Joyride too. Joyride looked like it was going to be a really good, solid comedy. It looked very funny.
It's really fun, man. It's really fun. It's really funny. I'm honestly surprised because the score is Joyride 82, No Hard Feelings 87.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm a little surprised at because I do think Joyride's a better movie,
Sure.
but I think they're both good movies. No Hard Feelings surprised me. I was very pleasantly surprised when we saw it.
And I have the feeling it did nothing in the theaters, and I'm sure it's doing incredible on Netflix.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. We didn't really look up any box office, but
yeah,
you could be very right. I would say see both of those movies. I think they're both really fun. I don't know. That's not just to you. That's to everybody.
So I guess at the end of this, it's pretty much Dan Goodsell was correct on everything, and Tony was mostly wrong.
You are wrong. You are wrong, Dan. I counted up scores. Here are the scores. Dan Goodsell got 9 picks correct. 9 out of our 15 picks you were correct.
That's pretty
on.
good. That's like an A.
And
A plus.
Tony got 12 out of 15 correct. Nailed it. I got Indiana Jones correct. I got, what else? I got Mission Impossible. I got Extraction. And I got the Oppenheimer one.
Look at you.
Crushed
Look
it.
at you.
I crushed the day.
You're good at movies.
Well, it turns out I'm not that good because then if you want to do a quick recap of what we decided were our 3 best and 3 worst trailers.
What did I say were the best? I have no idea.
Well, you kind of destroyed me on these.
Oh, did I?
So your best were Spider-Verse, Barbie, and Fast 10. My best were Spider-Verse, Demeter, and Mission Impossible. So Demeter kind of it dragged me
you down.
You know what I mean? Like I went for a wild shot just in case it was as good as I was hoping, and it wasn't. So I fell out of the wayside there. Our worst trailers, you destroyed me. Because I picked The Machine, which got a fucking 87. Unbelievable. I also picked About My Father, which had an 81, which is totally respectable. Yeah. And then I picked Fast 10, which ended with an 84. All of my movies were in the 80s. So that's not good. You did No Hard Feelings, which was an 87. So I thought it was going to be fine. But then you picked Hypnotic and You Hurt My Feelings, both 2 of the lowest scores of the summer. And you crushed me there. You beat me by like 50 points on that one. So that was unfortunate.
I'm good at picking out the worst. I'm very good at that.
I guess so.
See,
so.
you judge things emotionally. I look at things how terrible they are.
I do.
And that's with the No Hard Feelings. I judge that one emotionally.
See, that's
your mistake.
Should never let your emotions take over, Dan. No. Be robotic.
Boop, beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, boop, boop.
Beep, boop, boop. Oh boy.
Okay, well that was good.
Well, so did you have a favorite film of the summer?
Oh, Barbie. Yeah, of course, Barbie.
All right, we're talking about Barbie, Gran Turismo. You're right. You're right. And then The Machines, both of our least favorite films of the summer. Got it. Great stuff. Great stuff, Dan. Great stuff.
The truth of the matter is, of like all these movies I saw, it might be. Because, Boogeyman was... But I didn't finish the Boogeyman.
But what about Haunted Mansion? Do you like Haunted Mansion more than you like The Machine?
No.
Oh, damn.
I would watch The Machine before I'd watch Haunted Mansion.
Oh, poor Haunted Mansion.
Just like when they're upstairs with what's his name, in the attic, and they're just talking about stuff and the cookies, and you're just like, what is this?
and the cookies.
At least The Machine. It had its premise. It stuck to its premise. There was weird stuff in there that didn't work, but at least it was trying to do what it was trying. Haunted Mansion's like, I don't know what I'm trying. Here's some more weird characters.
I'm a mess.
Yeah.
But Danny DeVito throwing that meat into his mouth, still one of the best moments of the summer.
And that's what's sad about movies like The Haunted Mansion and The Machine is there are aspects to them that are really good, and then whatever reason they've just gone. I mean,
the rest of it,
the Machine, I think, was doomed from the beginning because it had to follow that plot line and wasn't allowed to sort of maybe be a movie that once again, wasn't allowed to be the movie that the trailers said it was going to be about.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
We wanted to see Popeye the Sailor Man. I wanted to see him get drunk and do something. So I wanted to see.
Be the machine. Yeah. I wanted him to be the machine. It's just people saying he's the machine, but he doesn't do anything.
The machine is nothing.
He's never a machine.
He never turns into this larger than life thing or be forced to become it in some way. Where he has to.
And there were moments. There were moments where it was primed, and I was like, "Oh, here it is. Here it comes," and then nothing at all.
Machine. So Tony, we finished with summer. Now we're moving into fall/winter. You must be watching a lot of really good stuff. You just you're on the flight. You flew to Witch Town, and then you came back from Witch Town. So you probably watched a lot more movies than you're talking about. 5
horror movies on these flights,
and so something must have been just amazing. Where you're just like, oh wow,
nope, it wasn't. Nope, you'd be wrong, Dan. Here's what I will say: I rewatched Beetlejuice, which I have not seen since I was a child.
The original,
all right. The original Beetlejuice, Michael Keaton, one of the brothers, that one, Catherine O'Hara, which I, for some reason, forgot she was even in that movie. That movie's funny.
Oh, yeah.
It's problematic, but it's funny. I for some reason, I grew up thinking I didn't like that movie.
Oh, okay.
Have we talked about this? I thought I didn't like Beetlejuice. I don't know when I saw it. I saw it when I was young. Maybe it scared me or something, but I just, all my life I've been like, yeah, I don't like Beetlejuice. I watched it on the plane. I was like, no, I like Beetlejuice. I don't understand what happened. He's great.
Michael Keaton puts in a beyond the most amazing comedic performance. He that dude understands comedy perfectly.
Yeah, man. He knocks it. And it's weird to me because then he kind of, I feel like soon after that is when he started doing dramatic stuff. And then it wasn't until like later in his career that he came back to comedy, I feel like. But maybe
it's true. He started out as, night shift like comedian. Yeah, you're right. He did.
Yeah, but he's unbelievable in that movie. Catherine O'Hara's great in that movie. Winona Ryder, not great in the movie. In my opinion, she's not super great, but that's okay.
She was like an icon in that movie where she looked a certain way.
I totally get it. Yeah. Was this before or after Heathers, I wonder?
I don't know.
It's probably after. I don't
know.
But I also watched the original Ghostbusters. I was like, I'm going to give. I think I like it more every time I watch it, Dan.
Yeah, because Bill Murray's character, he does have a really interesting character.
He really does. And he's so good. His delivery is so good. And the reason I wanted to go, I don't know if you remember this, but when we watched Afterlife, you asked the question, were these guys ever good at acting? Do you remember asking that? It was specifically to Dan Aykroyd, who in the original is good.
Okay.
All right. So they were good. I don't know what happened in Afterlife. I don't know what's going on.
Leaked out all over the floor. Ooh, somebody clean that up.
They're really good together. Yeah. The three of, and then Winston, sure, but I get he's very separate. I get it. Those three work really well off of each other. They are really fun to watch, and I get it. I still think because it's just a regular movie, it's not as fun and as exciting as I think I want it to be, because it's not a blockbuster. It's just like a regular movie. It's a comedy movie. It's good. But he has me rolling every time. Yes, it's true. This man has no penis. How do you beat that? How do you beat that? It's so good.
Have you ever watched Quick Change?
No.
That is a movie you should watch.
All right,
if you want to see Bill Murray at the heights of his comedic, Quick Change, and then of course Scrooged, which is
I love Scrooge. Scrooge is an every year movie for me.
Those two movies, and then he goes into Groundhog Day. I think after those two, and you're just like,
which I also
there we
love.
go. That's those are some seminal movies.
No, he was really, really something.
Okay, that's 2. What's number 3?
It's 2. So Insidious, Red Door I watched, which is dreadful. Just absolutely one of the worst movies you're ever going to see. And then I watched Scream 6, which I'd only watched when it came out. and then I rewatched it on the plane. It's really good.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if anybody cares about my Scream rankings, but it's pretty high up there. I don't know if it's better than the original, but it's up
Pretty
there.
good.
It's
Okay.
they've reinvented it. I like what's happening. It's less nostalgia than the last 4 entries have been, which is good. I'm excited to see what they do next. I'm very excited for Scream 7.
Okay.
I'm really ready for that. And then I watched It Chapter 2 because I was like, I've got 3 hours. It's not better than I remember.
Oh, it's so bad at those movies.
I don't know. I don't understand what happened. I don't get it. I love Chapter 1. Chapter 1 with the kids.
It was okay. It was
great.
Okay.
Maybe. I haven't rewatched that either, I guess. But I remember liking it a lot, and then I remember hating Chapter 2. And so I was like, why? Why, Tony? Why did you hate it? No, it's because it's bad. It's really bad. I think it's the only thing I've ever seen with Bill Hader in it that I'm like, I hate this movie. I don't like this at all. So that's a bummer. But yeah, it wasn't a great trip. So, movie wise, it was a great trip. I had a wonderful time. And then on Saturday, there was a Halloween marathon on AMC, and it was raining and storming all day. So we spent a lot of time indoors. So I got to watch Halloween 1, 2, 4, 5, H2O, and Resurrection.
Wait, this is on your vacation?
Yeah, this is on our vacation. Yep.
Good.
We were playing games at the same time and having a good time, but the movies are on. I just love Halloween. It's so good.
So,
all right, I'm sorry I talked so much. What do you got, Dan?
We started watching this show Bodies on Netflix. TV show, 8 episodes, based on a comic book, or as Shannon likes to say, a graphic novel. It's about detectives in 3 different times. Jack the Ripper time, 1941, World War II time, present, and then 20 years from now, who all discover a dead body in an alley in London.
Okay. Is it good? I love the premise.
I'm loving it.
Oh, shit. I'm going to
it could go south, like Follow the House of Usher, which went south. And
oh, no. Did it go? We're only 3 episodes in. It's weird.
It's weird.
It's really weird, Dan. Does it gets worse?
Yeah.
Did you finish it? Oh, shit. Okay.
And there's tons of, I like all the characters, but you're just like,
I don't like one character.
Which character don't you like?
Hold on. I don't know his name in real life. Oh, Follow the House of Usher. Not that guy.
Nope.
It's the older Henry Thomas, the guy that plays Frederick.
That's the kid from E.T.
So here's the thing.
He's weird.
He's really weird. He's not the chameleon that I seem to think they think he is.
Oh, okay.
He was fine as the dad in one of the other shows.
Yeah.
I loved him in Midnight Mass. I thought he was really nice as the dad in that one. Yeah. And then this one, they've made him like this sort of effeminate, sort of like he's got like a nice ponytail and he kind of talks. It feels like someone putting on a character as opposed to living. And I can't buy him. I hope he dies soon.
I think he lasts quite a ways into the thing.
Oh, that's a real.
He's going to be one of the last to go, I think.
But what's his Raul Cole?
Yeah, he's great.
This guy is fucking unbelievable, man. I love him. He's so good in everything. I mean, I've only seen him in these shows, but he's so different in each one. And it's amazing.
We were watching the first couple episodes, and I was like, that's the same guy, right? And Shannon's like, no, that's not the same guy.
Yeah.
It's the same guy. He doesn't look the same. He doesn't even look like the same human being.
No.
Like, not even 1%. You're just like, it's not the same guy.
No. And he doesn't act like it's not like, oh, I've changed my appearance, but I'm basically the same guy, which is how, most of us actors are in Hollywood, right? Like this guy, he's transformed. I love him. Good for him. He's crushing it.
Yeah, well, watch the one with where he, and you'll see if you make it past that episode.
Oh no. Okay. That's not. I don't know what any of that meant, but I don't like it. All right.
It's too on the nose with the opioid thing, and just like
Oh, sure.
I get that. You're a fantasist. Give me something different. And the animal testing stuff, you're just like, yeah, I don't want to be there.
It's a
I don't want
lot.
to be there.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's not something I need.
And
the whole sideline of them. Yeah.
And what's happening to all of them? It's just like a spirit that's just doing it to them for whatever. I don't care.
But you didn't finish it, so you
No.
don't know why it's doing it, right?
I mean,
okay, because either do I, obviously, and I'm hoping that it comes together.
Okay.
I'm really hoping. I'm really rooting for this guy,
Okay.
Flanagan.
Flanagan's amazing.
I mean, listen, he came out with three years, boom, 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 really good shows. Then last year's was awful, like the Midnight Club we couldn't get through.
I rewatched his Shining Part 2.
Yeah.
I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. I really liked it the first time. The second time, I loved it.
It's long. I don't know if I can watch it a second time.
No.
But that's Ewan, right? Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor and,
Sure?
and what's her name?
Yeah.
What's her name plays the bad woman, Rebecca Ferguson, and she was in that. She was in the bunker movie where they're in the underground bunker. Wool, whatever that movie is. The silo.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
I'll watch her in any show for 8 episodes. I'm just like, I just want to watch you because you're freaking great. And you just make constant, there are people, it's like Rahul, it's a guy that's constantly making choices. You're just like, he's making choices.
Yes.
I want to sit here and watch you make those choices and be a character that does stuff and feels stuff and has emotions and things like that. So that's what I want. Yeah. We get a lot of that.
All I'll say about the fall of the House of Usher is Carla, what's his name? Carla Cugino?
Yeah.
Cugino?
Yeah.
I love her.
I love her, but she's too old.
Nope. Wrong. Swing and a miss, Dan. She's getting better with age.
It's just
like a fine
wine.
My
problem with it is I want that character to be, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I want her to be completely mutable, and she seems like she's not as completely mutable, as I want her to be.
Yeah. I get that.
A lot of times she's playing different characters in the thing, and you're just like, yep, that's her. Yep, that's her. Yep, that's her.
Yeah,
she doesn't disappear into those other weird characters, which a different actress might. And it's not necessarily because of her age, but I don't know.
Yeah.
She's good, though. I like her.
Yeah. Anyhow, we're going to finish it this week, so
well, Tony,
I'll let you know if it comes together.
What do you have for us next week? Do you have a movie for us to do next week?
Was it my turn to pick?
Yeah, I think because the last real movie we did was Haunted Mansion, and I think I picked that, or didn't I? Maybe I picked it. I don't know.
No, I mean you're right about that. Are we just doing regular movies then?
You can do You can do whatever kind of movie you want, and if you don't have a movie, I can pick a movie.
Why don't you pick a movie? I'm unprepared for this.
Well, we're gonna do our bonus Halloween movie. This is the movie I was gonna pick for the last movie I picked, so we're gonna do bonus Halloween. Great. And this movie's going to be bad. This movie's not just going to be. This could be like another. We complain about Haunted Mansion, but at least there's Danny DeVito throwing the fish in his mouth, right? If you were forced to watch a movie every hour,
oh no,
the same movie every day, you had to watch it. You wouldn't kill yourself having to watch Haunted Mansion. You'd just be like, this is dumb. This movie, I have the feeling you'd want to seriously harm yourself if you had to watch this movie.
You are talking this up a lot, Dan. I'm excited.
Blair Witch 2.
Blair Witch 2.
Book of Shadows, I think it's called.
I don't know. I've never seen it. I guess I'm not even sure I realized there was a second one.
Oh, yeah. This is the...
it came out in 2000.
Oh, yeah. It came out fairly close on the heels of the other movie.
Yeah, Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. Jeffrey Donovan's in it. Great stuff.
So this one, Blair Witch, sensation, great movie. I loved it. Scared the hell out of me. Exactly what I want in a horror movie, where you're just like, I don't know what is happening. But when we get to the end...
It's not a big rewatch movie, though, for me.
I mean, it's...
Like, the first time you see it, you're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But
But Blair Witch 2, like everybody's just like, this is so bad. So bad. So we're going to go see Blair Witch.
I'm excited. Ooh, yeah, 18% audience score. All right.
That'd be a 74 now.
There's got to be something that somebody hates. You're right. I'm going to find it. I'm going to find a movie that everybody hates.
Tony. So we'll be back. If you like what you see, we asked you for a thumbs up. You give us a thumbs up. That'd be helpful. Help move us up in the algorithm. Leave a comment.
Because right now we're not in it. We're not even in the algorithm.
Or leave a comment. And we'll be back next week to actually talk about a specific one single movie, Blair Witch 2.
Well, we'll probably talk about 2 movies a bit. Blair Witch 1 and 2, because I'm sure we're going to compare them a lot. But you're right. We'll focus on
Blair Witch 2.
Goodbye, everybody!
Hey, watch him!